My bit now. So I'm going to start with a video a short film developed by a young person on one of the Creative Commission projects.
Time. Is it real? The fleeting moments that soar past like bats out of the night, leaving you spellbound and still. The long waits and pauses that seem to last an eternity, like treacle dripping from a spoon. Did they happen, or were they just a dream? Your mind playing tricks on you to help you comply to the norms of society. But then what is reality? Look around you, at all the systems humanity has created. Language, measurement, conventions of architecture, gender, consumerism, relationships. Are they real? Are human ideologies of right and wrong real? We say I was doing the right thing and you were wrong to do that, so lightly. But can you define it? Can you define right and wrong, good and evil? Well, to do so you'd have to use words, and as Shakespeare once said, words are grown so false, I am loath to prove reason with them. In a world where we are all connected, untangling the web of events, people, and time to find the right course to pursue becomes ever harder, as by attempting to untangle the threads you risk only pulling them tighter. The irony of life. A youth strike for climate in the city centre. Traffic at a standstill, while hundreds troop by, chanting songs for climate justice. But most of the engines are still running. The buses and cars sitting there, pumping out toxic fumes into streets full of people. People protesting the way we are treating the planet we have the presumption to call home. So, how should we decide how to act in a situation? I know you're doing what you believe in, and that's all any of us can do. It's all any of us should. A quote from a letter penned by Steve Rogers, Captain America. But is that enough? Because each decision we make impacts those around us. Each tiny choice changes the world, usually in ways we could and can never imagine. So what should we do? In a world that is so based on perception, where one person sees orange and another purple, where I sometimes wonder that anything is communicated, in a world where everyone has such a different perspective on things. There are ways of connecting that transcend words, of course, and indeed transcend everything, even if only for an instant. An understanding between people that doesn't need words, a common purpose, a mutual feeling, understanding. When we come together, often through music or space, and connect. A connection of hearts, when all time falls away and you're just in that moment. Or perhaps that is when you are most keenly aware of everything. I do not know, for I speak of that which cannot be defined or described. The threads that link us all together. The incredible, inexplicable things that just happen when things link up. You matter. Everything matters. Out beyond ideas of right doing and wrong doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Rumi.
So just some highlights from this year. So we've increased our membership. We're nearing 30 members with Lancashire Heritage Learning Team and Proper Project, to name a few of the new members that have come on board. We developed a bi-monthly newsletter to communicate directly with our members and followers. We employed 2 freelancers, one being me, and the other being Rachel Parsons, who's now finished in her role as administrator, which was through some seed funding from Curious Minds. So my position is funded through the Our Place in the World scheme. We took a couple of months to map local provision, but obviously COVID-19 happened and everyone's provision went a little bit haywire. So in the new year, we'll be coming back to that with our members to explore that further, to develop a document that can support young people signposting to cultural activity in the district. We secured 60K of investment across 2 years from Curious Minds and Lancaster University, which is the Our Place in the World Cultural and Creative Education Programme. We developed a new website, which is now live. So you're welcome to go to that, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And we hosted 6 strategic steering group meetings this year, as well as a few working groups based on bits and bobs around the Our Place in the World scheme, the mapping and Arts Award and Arts Mark programming. So, Our Place in the World. Guy has already spoken a little bit about this program. So the activity to date is that we launched a creative challenge pack, which I'll talk about in a moment. We did our year 1 of creative commissions. So we commissioned 4 artist-stroke organisations, giving a total of £8,000 for this last 6 months for this year 1. We launched our cultural care series, which is our professional development programme through the Culture Co-op. And again, we've launched our website today. So the Creative Challenge Pack was kind of inspired by Arts Council's Let's Create initiative, which is part of their 10-year strategy, which is around getting young people to access creative activities and resources that they might not have access to in lockdown. So we created our Creative Challenge Pack and distributed 125 packs via a load of different partners. So we were supported by the community connectors at Lancaster City Council, Stanley's Youth and Community Centre, and also the Marsh Youth and Community Centre. So they went to CAMS, they went to the Wellbeing team, they went all over the place, and we've heard word that around 100 of the 125 packs have been accessed and distributed. So there's still a couple of packs still to reach young people. But yeah, it was just packed with lots of creative activities gifted by people from members and also local cultural arts organisations from across Lancashire. The creative commissions. So we commissioned 4 of these. So the first one being Change in a Box, which is it's a resource pack, an offline resource pack, looking at supporting young people to develop activism, develop themselves as activists. So it's filled with lots of different case studies from a broad range of history, from present day way back to the suffragist movement, and there's creative activities in there as well. So yeah, it's a really wonderful pack. We managed to commission 60 of these and then a further 30 via the Craft Council, so some funding there. And also Lancaster University have commissioned 200 magazines to be printed and distributed across their libraries and learning spaces, which is fantastic. So those have been done and they're about to go out and be distributed amongst our distribution partners in the next kind of week or so. We've had Your Place in the World Now, which was an audio-visual project developed by Charlotte Barber, a local freelance artist. So the young person Eloise's piece was the one that you saw just now. So they explored what it's like to live in the world now. They did sessions around music, film editing, and they put those pieces together. So that thing that you saw, the film that you saw, was all developed by Eloise based on her learning from Charlotte. And We have Double Life, which is from Leo and Hyde, a Lancashire-based musical theatre organisation. And they were taking one of their songs from their new musical theatre piece about the LGBTQIA plus community living double lives online and in life. And they wanted to work with young people and West End stars to develop a music video, which is just being edited at the moment. And then we had Graft's Young Changemakers. So Graft, a Lancaster-based visual arts organisation, developed a Young Changemakers group. So they brought together a group of young people to curate an exhibition, an outdoor exhibition around the Black Lives Matters movement. So they commissioned 3 Black artists from across the UK and have exhibited. So that is actually up until the 18th. It gets pulled down on the 18th. We're hoping to get it in other places in the new year. Well, Graft are. But if you want to try and grab that, you can find those. We'll I'll pop a link in the chat, and there's a little map that one of the young people has created where you'll be able to find those pieces if you are going into Lancaster in the next couple of days. So the Cultural Care Series launched in the last 2 months, and it's a space for professionals, teachers, cultural enthusiasts, artists, community practitioners to come together and learn about cultural education and art, and how to support young people to access high quality cultural initiatives. So we have a salon, so a creative salon where people come and chat about stuff that might be bothering them, or we get a guest speaker in and they talk about something, and then we use that as a spark to generate a conversation. We've had micro learning sessions. So I delivered a session on digital content creation skills. We had Dr. Diane Potts from Lancaster University develop a session around the language of disadvantage, which is on our YouTube channel now and via our website. And the second, and then I've got another cultural salon coming up on the 22nd of December, if you would like to join me for that as well. So the website, so we've developed a website, and there will also be a hub developed in partnership with Lancaster University, which will happen in the new year, which we're looking at a new online learning space for professionals and young people to kind of share, create, curate, do, make, all those kinds of lovely words. So we don't know what that looks like yet, but we're in the processes of developing that in the new year. So looking forward. So we've got our second cultural care series starting from January till March. Let me just scroll down to make sure I've got these right. So we've got art and culture across the curriculum coming from Curious Minds. We've got young people's facilitated co-design and decolonising community work and delivering anti-racist activity from the Lancaster University. So those sessions haven't been booked yet, but we're kind of penciling those dates in as we speak. So kind of stay tuned, because they sound like really, really interesting sessions, and we'll be developing other sessions as well as we enter into the new year. The new radicals, so we'll be developing a young people's group. So one of the key things that came out of the consensus period for the culture co-op was around young people's voice, and obviously because of the pandemic, things have shifted slightly. So in the new year, I'll be working closely with the members to develop a young people's group that will look to steer the co-op into its new future. So we've been around for a year and a half, 2 years now. So we're due to look at our strategic vision and mission. So we're hoping to develop a young people's group to help foster that and to advocate for the co-op and for young people's cultural education as well. Again, I spoke about the online hub, which we'll be developing in the new year. We'll be developing a cultural roadmap based on the mapping that we've done. We're hoping to develop a Creative Careers Expo for 2021. So we developed one in 2019. We were going to develop one in 2020, but unfortunately COVID meant that we were able to do that. It was really well received in 2019. There was around 100 odd young people from all across Lancaster that came to learn about creative careers, similar to kind of what the Preston LSEP did as well. So we're hoping to get that off the ground, possibly an online version, but we're not quite sure yet. We'll also be looking at equality and diversity and revisiting our strategy, mission and vision with the steering group and the young people's group to check that we're on course and to see what we can do and what we might need to let go because of capacity. And then we developed a working group in 2019, early 2020 around ArtSmart, developing an ArtSmart offer for schools and Arts Award offer for schools. So we'll be kind of revisiting that in the new year as well. And then tied in with the Our Place in the World scheme, there'll be some academic research coming out of some of the initiatives that we're developing. So please stay tuned for that as well.